And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, crafty anime girls. They tried, but they did not completely succeed, even though I think Asal's buckling under pressure, to be perfectly honest. But let's just pretend that that's not happening just yet. So, we've been sent off to get some supplies from the art class, though we actually have no idea where it is, so we've just sort of wandered in to a class, though I see some easels over there, so I think we're in the right place. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. Oh, okay. Delicious. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly at the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned in silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be anyone here, or someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai, Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Ren Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. Kinda bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner bite. It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think that you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, with at least as much impoliteness she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. You know, that's actually crazy. He hasn't actually been asked that by anyone. I guess her straightforwardness, I guess he was right about her being straightforward. Yeah, no, like, after all this reading, you'd think that I had figured out that someone had asked him or they would know, but no one's actually full out asked him. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I don't get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminated her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary. This is lunch. Like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. Wait, I thought she said the curry was delicious. Wait. The problem must be in your pants. Oh, for crying out loud. Ugh. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back, even physically, as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I could think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out. But I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down? I forgive you. Just, I collect people and persons with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh. So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what she said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already, or heard about it from someone else, or didn't need to know about it. It's like other students here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. I thought it was Shizune's list. Shizune, gave us the list, and it was, super tactful. It's so weird. Yo, man, continuity in my video game. Continuity in my video game. I don't know. Maybe I am the one having the continuity error. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would move their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and the shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can think of. And that's all I can think to say. Both of us fall silent again, as Ritten forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. God, the dexterity you'd need for something like that. Like, I am able to pick stuff up between my toes and, like, bring it to my arms, but, like, you'd have to be so flexible to having to constantly, like, crunch up and eat that way. But I know, I don't know people personally, but I've seen videos of people actually being able to do it, and proficiently, too. It's just adaptability, and I think that's the most interesting thing about people with disabilities is, yeah, it's a hindrance and it's inconvenient in a world where, you know, being a healthy, strong person is the norm, that they're able to do things they just find workarounds. I guess that's the versatility of just being a human being, right? Is, you know, like, just because you're blind, we created a language out of, like, bumps to allow them to read, in a sense, right? Like, Braille is such an interesting language because of it. Because it is just like a written language. It's just it's through touch rather than sight. And, you know, it's ingenuity at its finest. I look down at my haul and double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. Need to do whatever you are going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you'd like to watch girls sleep. Not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. If I ever did, I think I have to be going. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. Okay, never mind. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at the point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. Then you are. She's very straightforward. She's probably really weird. You can just tell by the way she's looking at, like, just, like, look at her eyes for a second. She's probably really fucking weird. But in a good way. In a really good way. Ren looked at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times and can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. Quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jumped at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Oh god, Shizune's behind her. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait. More importantly, who is in there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come and check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry. I got the things here and was just going to bring them.
I think you were up to something mischievous, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder?
Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ears a couple times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeably trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shirei just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sigh furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. That's the scariest thing of all, is when you see the look on the woman's face. And you know you've done something, but you don't know exactly what it is, but the internal explosion is visible. And then you're screwed, bud. She stood... Oops. Cha-cha. Sorry, just putting my drink down. Excuse me. Oh, I'm very sorry about that. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello.
Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such, disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular.
It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points to Rin, and makes some quick signs.
Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival?
Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting her on.
I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? Well, think about it harder.
Kind of like her for that reason. It's like I was thinking really hard about it. And? I'll think harder. It's such great comedic timing. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown.
Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like something threw up their lunch onto it.
Rin nods assertively.
We'll think more seriously.
Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo.
How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There'll be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future.
I am about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom.
Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit in my bag, but I need it.
She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. Lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it?
Away.
And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. How did we get roped into this? I thought we were supposed to be helping Misha and... oh well. With that, I think we shall call it a part, and we'll follow Rin to her destination tomorrow. So take care, stay frosty. I'll see you next time.